What is up, everybody? It is your boy Super John Cena Nick here, and today, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to review your 2022 WWE SummerSlam pay-per-view. Yes, I've noted it that it was the best pay-per-view of the year. Yes, it was the best pay-per-view of the year, the best main event of all time. Well, possibly of all pay-per-views in 2022, and the best last man standing match ever outside Becky Lynch versus Charlotte from 2018 Evolution, and possibly the best main event in SummerSlam's history, and the best pay-per-view main event of 2020. Well, I would put that at number 2 if I was you. I don't know, or maybe number 1, or anything. But anyways, if you're wondering why I haven't reviewed that much of Raw and SmackDown as of recently, it's because I've had no desire to care about the product. Because the product is all Vince McMahon pushing. I mean, Vince McMahon weird booking. But then, when Vince McMahon retired, I was thinking that I will be back to do some Super John Cena Nick review for the SummerSlam pay-per-view, and that's what we're doing today. And by the way, thank you Vince for all the damage you've done to the company. Now give the keys to Triple H. It should have happened then. And now it's happened. So now, let's, without further delay, shut our mouths and let's review. Well, actually, just start going through SummerSlam. One quick thing before we do that, though. If you want to follow me on Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, actually, no. Oh, shit. But anyways, follow me on Twitch, Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. You could all do so by hitting the follow button to see which things you like from me on social media. Yeah. So without further delay, let's head to SummerSlam. And so we're gonna start the show. So we're gonna start it off with Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair, number 2. For the Raw Women's Champion. Now, you guys don't know that I was ranting about SummerSlam hours before the pay-per-view because I was so angry that it was rematch slam based off what we've seen. And, of course, let me go get the picture very quickly in case you're wondering on why I was ranting. If my Twitter would upload. Why is it taking so... Oh, here we go. I got this, okay. On why did I even complaining about SummerSlam? I'll tell you folks why I was complaining from the start of 2022 SummerSlam. Let's go find it. Okay, here we go. Okay, so I said this in my Twitter post on Saturday afternoon. I said this is not SummerSlam. It's rematch slam, going backwards to the rematches from where it happened. WWE does not care about its current roster. None of these matches doesn't represent SummerSlam. Maybe Bianca versus Becky. Okay. But I'm really fed up with the feud already. Yeah, because they've been feuding since the 26 seconds disaster last year. And I immediately were bored of that. And of course they did that thing at Extreme Rules, got changed on to, then were pushed on to a triple threat match. Then Bianca won the Elimination Chamber to face Becky due to 26 seconds at SummerSlam last year. In a rematch at WrestleMania 38. And of course it is really sad because people are starting to hate on Becky due to a cringe character that she has ever used in WWE. Because Steampunk, people are complaining, the mind before they've over-scripted her. They've over-exposed her so much to the point that people has figured the gimmick was getting stale in 2019. When it was first introduced on 2018, we were wondering, was it going to make a difference? It really, well, it did. But nonetheless, This match, well, as much as I'm really sick of this feud, it wasn't a bad match. It was actually a decent match. It wasn't a bad match. However, I have a lot to say. What the fuck was Becky Lynch? What the hell was Becky Lynch wearing? And just keep in mind, yeah, what the hell was she wearing? I don't know. Because Bianca is still walking in the shop. I think she's still in shorts. Shorts. But anyways, this wasn't a bad match. But however, there's some big things we have to talk about in this match. Where is it? That there was a surprise return of Bayley with Dakota Kai and Io Sky. Yes, they've changed her name. The name change has striked again. This time they gave her Io Sky, not Io Shirai. Yeah, because it had a Vince McMahon DNA, and that was the plan in Vince McMahon's brain to change the name. You know, Bayley in the new faction, I like the faction, but honestly, I'm not really hyped on why Bayley could have just went to SmackDown, because SmackDown needs a division that is fully existing, because Raquel Rodriguez, because can we just merge the women's division on one SmackDown? Because here's the problem with the women's division on Raw and SmackDown. So, and of course I'm recording this before tonight's SmackDown, because I didn't get enough time to record this on Sunday, because people will focus on Ric Flair's last match in WWE. Wanted that. Okay, so here we go on the division for the SmackDown division to challenge Liv Morgan. Oh, and by the way, they announced two things. Ronda is suspended, and we have a gauntlet match tonight on SmackDown. So compare this. So here, what we have for the division right now, for now, who is available, which are Ilya, Natalya, Raquel Rodriguez, Shayna Baszler, Shotzi, Sonya Deville, and Xia Li. Well, actually, I'm going to go take a look at the SmackDown things we have for tonight's show. Okay, so now we're on SmackDown, as we're going to roll on to the next match, which I just don't want to be here any longer. Okay, so because these are the 7 I mentioned, they're all in the gauntlet match tonight for the number 1 contender, and it's 7, by the way. Alright, I'm back. Okay. We get into the next match. We have Logan Paul versus The Miz. You know, when Logan Paul signed a WWE contract, I was like, are you kidding me? That means that he's possibly going to get a match at SummerSlam along with Brock Lesnar. While AJ Styles couldn't get a match. Well, AJ did not get a match, but he at least made an appearance. So of course, if you do not know about the story, I know you do, with WWE playlist on YouTube that talked about the road to SummerSlam from when it started at WrestleMania 30 at WrestleMania to now. Like, it's kind of odd how they're fighting, because they teamed up with each other at WrestleMania and doing the WrestleMania build in Miz's feud with the Mysterios. And then Logan Paul, I think, signed a WWE contract on where was it? June 30th? Yes, he did. He signed the contract on June 30th. because this was the start of the Logan Paul coming in WWE, which there was ringside news right now about Logan Paul not being used on WWE on Monday Night Raw going forward because he has a boxing match in December. Correct me if I'm wrong. So we get into the match. Of course, champions and the Miz is at ringside, of course. Then Logan Paul comes out. I do have to say that Logan Paul had a decent attire tonight. Miz, what the hell was it? Same thing like Becky Lynch. What is it with the design? So, without further delay, let's get into the match. Okay, let's go. So, cause you know how the match starts? Stare down. Then they start with a collar lock. And of course, I do have to say that Summerslam Arena looked not bad tonight. And of course, Miz packed Logan on his head. Then they did another stare down. Then Miz had some small on Logan Paul, and Miz tries to go for the normal Miz where the opponent is sitting on down, and then Miz and Logan Paul does another stare down, and then they all have in a lock up tire, and Logan Paul tries to mock Miz's yes kicks like Bryan Danielson used to do, aka Daniel Bryan in WWE. I still think he does that same thing in All Elite Wrestling. Then Miz blocked the head getting kicked, and then Logan Paul kicked on top of his head, and then Logan Paul used boxing punches against the Miz. Then Miz was trying to kick Logan when Logan was in the splits, and then we went for the wall up, and then he went for the wall up. Miz kicks out. Logan Paul gets the Miz out of the ring and does a fantastic dive off the ring. Then Logan Paul gets into a small stare down with Tommaso Ciampa, and yes, I'm calling him Tommaso Ciampa because I bet he's gonna get his old name back. Then Miz does some chops with Logan Paul standing on the corner in the ring. Then Logan Paul reversed it and does the chops. Then Logan Paul reversed it, and Miz does like the code breaker thing where Logan Paul was on the middle part of the turnbuckle. So, and then Miz did like that sort of Chris Jericho code breaker, nearly enough that could have injured Logan Paul. Remember, kids, don't try this at home. Then Miz kicks Logan Paul. Then the Miz tries to make, I think he was locked in a headlock for seconds, and then Logan Paul get some tiny offense. Then Miz got some small offenses against Logan Paul. Then I think Miz was trying to do a running yes knee onto the turnbuckle, and then his knee landed on the top turnbuckle. Then Logan Paul did a dive, turned into a suplex. I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Then Logan Paul mocked the yes kicks, and then he failed to get the last one, and he got offensive seconds. Then Logan Paul had the yes law, the knee, the figure four leg, just like what Ric Flair uses to do. But then Miz tries to reach for the ropes, and he does successfully reach for the ropes. Then Logan Paul's knee was getting a little bit hurt, but Logan Paul decided, I want to continue doing it. Then Logan Paul does another dive off, I think it was the turnbuckle or the apron. Then does I think it was Apollo Cruz's dive. Apollo Cruz thingy, when he does the gorilla press. And Miz kicks out. Like this. Then Miz kicks Logan Paul's chest onto the turnbuckle. Then Tommaso Ciampa tries this to cost a DQ. And I think he was banned from ringside along with Maurice. Then Ciampa argued with the referee. And then he tried to get the steel chair for the Miz. Actually got the chair for himself. And Ciampa refused to leave. Then Ciampa tried to get the chair and pass it to the Miz to get himself DQ'd. And then out of nowhere, AJ Styles comes out of nowhere and brawls with Tommaso Ciampa. So for some who I was wondering, was AJ Styles at SummerSlam? He didn't get a wrestling match, but he made an appearance in a brawl at ringside. In the same old gear. Let that sink in a lot. So, we turn our attentions back to the match. He's been using that attire, AJ Styles, since February 28th, when he challenged Edge at WrestleMania. But anyways, back to the match. Logan Paul and The Miz was trying to get some recovery. Then Logan tries to go for the pin. The Miz kicks out. The Miz rolls out of the ring. Then Logan Paul rolled himself out the ring to go and try and put the Miz through an announce table. Which I know some people are asking, was there two announce tables? Because it seemed like there was one. But however, it was repaired for the last man standing match, which we're going to talk about in moments to come. Although I think that was the Raw announce table. And all of a sudden, Logan Paul 5-star frog splash The Miz through an announce table, which was an impressive spot there by Logan Paul. Something that might be the greatest spot of the week, and along with the tractor thing that we're going to talk about. Then Logan Paul tries to go for the pin, and then Logan Paul and Maurice gets into an argument at ringside. Then Miz, I think, pepper sprayed Maurice, and then Logan Paul pulled off an unthinkable and defeated The Miz. So overall, great performance there by Logan Paul. I'm okay with him signing to WWE, but as far as he does not get more TV time, like a Shane McMahon, not like the Shane McMahon, where he gets more TV time than all of the members of the locker room. Like I can name some that he should just have less, just give more spotlights, like Dominik Dijakovic, aka T-Bar, and all the rosters who hasn't been getting TV time and who deserves, instead of Logan Paul just taking up this, just like Shane McMahon did in 2019. When we had the wildcard rule, because that was what the wildcard rule was made for, to put Shane McMahon on both shows. Like in GM Wall, he gets some TV time in the GM Wall, but as of tonight, as with Logan Paul, we'll have to see how things fare. Okay, moving on. Let's go on. Let's take a look at my notes. Alright, I am back. Now, where were we? Okay. The next match we have is the United States Championship match between Bobby Lashley versus Theory. Now, one thing I do have to say is that I'm really liking this babyface run of Bobby Lashley, because Bobby Lashley is starting to get over as a babyface. People, like, if 2018 Lashley was that, on him being over, that would be a great work. Now, of course, I'm pretty sure they showed a video package of Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre at Clash at Castle. Speaking of which, Drew actually made an appearance tonight, not in a wrestling clothes. Like people were talking, was Drew going to replace Riddle at SummerSlam? Because of course, we're all knowing, is Drew replacing Riddle? Because people were talking about Gargano. Like I was speaking about Gargano, but I think it was going to be Drew McIntyre. Because Triple H getting his egos back together, but would have to would take time. Like I'm not trying to fully rush on that. Like Triple H were willing to sign anyone as far as he wants. Actually, it wasn't the Drew vs Roman video package for Clash of Castles. It was the video package for the main event, which we're going to talk about at the end. But anyways, we have Austin Theory up close makes his way down the ring with his cell phone and the Money in the Bank booth with his blue and yellow tie, which those CGI graphics are from the phone thing. We might add all from the main roster color when they gave him Tyler Breeze gimmick. The colors blue and yellow attire. Kind of didn't call the last one, but with yellow, because SummerSlam, like I think he's starting to wear inspired country colors. Like it's kind of because it was red and yellow from the Royal Rumble. Because normally the Royal Rumble is red and white. Because Survivor Series, he had a camo attire. So I think that color tonight was Nashville, to fit Nashville, Tennessee. Because Al had Chicago colors. Like, well, it was a tint of blue and red. Even a tint of white. Anyways, next up we have Bobby Lashley posed down with the US champion. And of course Bobby Lashley is so over with the fans. He's been over with the fans since maybe months. Imagine if 2018 Lashley was over. But like the current Lashley, how would it work? Because that Lashley at time period, people just didn't buy into it. He's just uncharismatic at whatever he cuts on the mic. And this Lashley is looking good. And I'm actually looking forward to his title defense against Ciampa put on Raw, which I will be reviewing Monday Night Raw tomorrow night. Of course, I will review SmackDown possibly on Monday. Kind of weird, but I have a big Sunday to do. Or maybe I'll review Monday Night Raw on Sunday, because I have Hell in a Cell to do on Survivor South night. So doing Lashley's entrance, but I mean, also when they do the turnbuckle pose, Theory and doing when the cameras were on the United States Championship CGI graphic, Theory attacks Bobby Lashley with his Money in the Bank briefcase. And like if it's just like a Money in the Bank cash-in where he's not cashing in on the US title. Then Lashley was acting like he had an injury knee, seeing he couldn't get going. Then Theory got the first few minutes on defense. And then Theory tries to win fast with an injury that he cost to Lashley. Then Theory got a lot offensive in this match, but because turning on worldwide, you at SummerSlam. Because we had Lashley getting some offensive on Theory. And then Theory got destroyed, and Theory wanted to find the Money in the Bank briefcase just to walk away and just not care about the match, but would care on the main event. Then Lashley stood in and saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, not so fast." And he throws him on, he whips him onto the barricade, and then gets him back in the ring. And then Theory got up with his drop kick. Then Lashley got back to his feet, and Theory was going to go for the finisher. Then Lashley reversed it. Then Lashley was moving as this jump of this guy is fickable. Then Lashley and Theory was trending on blows in this match. And then Theory tries to go for the sock punch, and then Lashley reversed it, and Lashley caught Theory with I think it was a power slam. Then Bobby Lashley went for the spear, on Theory, and he retains the US champion with a pinfall. So you know what? I'm looking forward to Lashley versus Ciampa on Raw Monday. Okay. I'm looking forward to it. Although, if he was to retain, who is there for him? Will it be Dominik Dijakovic or Kevin Owens? Because Seth Rollins doesn't want the US title, he wants the Undisputed Universal Champion, but possibly Drew McIntyre is winning the title, more likely, at Clash of Castles. And then Theory stared down at Lashley after the match. And what else can I say? And of course, a video package of Las Vegas for WrestleMania 39 in Hollywood. So we move on from that on to the Mysterios versus Judgment Day, or should we say Failure Day? Because the Failure Day is starting to become get off my TV worthy, because they're now starting to become Retribution 2.0. Ever since, well, at first at WrestleMania, when Edge started the faction, we were wondering, was this going to be a good concept for Judgment Day to capitalize and go after tag team titles against the Bloodline? But the problem with that is, who would they be cheering for? Would they be cheering for Judgment Day or the Bloodline? Because whenever you put them in the ring, when you put them in the ring, who will they be cheering for? Will they be cheering for Roman Bloodline or Judgment Day? That's the question we all have to ask. And of course, if I watched this match, I did. So of course, this was a tag team tornado match. As Damian Priest and Finn Balor going to work on the Mysterios. Of course, Wwe had his 25th anniversary this last week, and Rhea Ripley is also back with that thing she talked about a couple of months ago. Doing her time off television due to Alexa Bliss and Liv Morgan, which of course Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio all doing the work on Finn Balor. Of course, I just think people just didn't care about this match, because people just don't care about Judgment Day, which is really sad, because I've wanted Judgment Day to see what their future will like, meaning that we get a Raw Women's title reign, whoever the fourth member would be teaming up with Priest for the tag team titles, and Edge as world champion from Roman Reigns. Nope, it failed, because they kicked him out the group, turned him back to the old Edge, the weighted out superstar Edge, which I figure he has an old song back. And for whatever reason, I don't know why, that Edge look from SummerSlam reminded me a lot of Edge from 2002, from when he had short hair, doing his appearance on WWE television, just have the guy just to have the wrestler selling in front of him, sell their feuds, like Cena did with Lesnar in 2012. I think Bryan or Orton did it in 2013 on SmackDown, while Cena did it on Raw. Those two who were former enemies in 2006. Just let that sink in a lot. And of course I just didn't care about this match, because of course I said this once, and I don't know why people hating on Dominic Mysterio, because he's bringing Mysterio down. Like, Wade was a former US champion, has been US champion a lot of times since coming back in 2018. The guy hasn't won one world title yet, because of course he was just not beating Roman Reigns. But, I mean, what can I say? Judgment Day is just failure day. I can't wait for the faction to break up after Clash of the Castle. Because this has been an ultimate failure. Now, of course, the one good thing about this match between Failure Day and the Mysterios is that chest spot that Wade normally does. Like he did it to Randy Orton in 2018. And then Finn tries to go for the coup de grace. Then Dominic grabs his leg. Then Wade does I think it was the suplex or the Hurricanrana. And then Rhea Ripley grabbed Dominic and slammed and did I think it was an Alabama slam onto the apron. Then Priest choke slam. I think he choke slammed Rey Mysterio. Then I think the lights went out and the fans were wondering, is it Taker? Is it the Undertaker? Nope. It was fire crossing around. I think it was the stairs that Edge used last year for his entrance, and he rises in. That was one of the sickest entrants during SummerSlam weekend, nonetheless. And of course, that Edge that has the red jacket, of course, with Brood sunglasses, and I think that's a Brood and these spikes on the jacket. It's not like a leather jacket he used to wear back in 2012 or whatever year he had when he had the short hair. Then Edge runs to the ring, spears Damian Priest, and then gets ready to do 619, and the Mysterios beats Judgment Day, aka Failure Day, with the help of Edge. So at Finally Betting Man, I think we're getting a 6-man tag match. I think we're possibly going to get Balor vs Edge, a Falls Count Anywhere match at United Kingdom for Clash at the Castle, if I'm a betting man. And I'm pointing out this is the end of Judgment Day. It really has been a failure. Moving on here. How many matches do we have left? We got 5 matches left. Holy hell. No, actually, we got 4, but we got a brawl. So let's go to the next one. Which the next match is Happy Corbin versus Pat McAfee. Yeah. Of course, Pat McAfee had a great entrance. Might be the second best entrance. Actually, Edge's might be second. And Pat might be the third. And of course, it's kind of funny how Corbin is wearing white wrist tape. Like, normally, I think he does wear black wrist tape. Because whenever he's in a hat, because it's kind of funny, because in the Constable Corbin, he never wore wrist tape. It's kind of funny. And of course, Pat McAfee and Corbin spend, I think, minutes in the ring. Then Pat whips Corbin onto the turnbuckle. And then Pat normally does his flips. Like he does. Pat McAfee is the GOAT, by the way. Just saying. Pat McAfee is the greatest of all time. This guy is in the Hall of Fame when this guy retires. Then Baron Corbin gets a small offense. And honestly, I think that might be being Corbin's... it may have not been Corbin's best match. But I think it was a great match, yeah. And I think Pat actually brought Corbin onto a good match. I think this might be Corbin's best match since turning into Happy Corbin. And I'm wondering what's next for him tonight on SmackDown. As this match was not a bad match. The sequence of this wasn't bad. I mean, it would have been perfect if it was the Lone Wolf Corbin, like what was his name? Who made that attire? His WWE 2K22 what intro? Whose name is it? The only time, and it's the one without the I. After the T. Team. I don't know how to spell it. But anyways, this match was not bad. And Pat McAfee, I'm going to praise him. He's done a lot to bring wrestlers who is not great onto a good match. Like he brought Austin Theory onto a good match at WrestleMania. And tonight he brought Corbin onto a decent match. It may have not been the best match. Like, I'm going to give this a 7 out of 10. Like, it could have worked if it was the Lone Wolf Corbin, or if, like, anything that would have made this match great. Was it the best match on SummerSlam weekend? Because Pat has only suffered a loss in 2022. He has lost to a 77-year-old man at WrestleMania, after beating Austin Theory. And of course, I know Corbin was trying to make his happy gimmick, like, heel work good. Like, playing around on color commentary with Michael Cole and Corey Graves. Like, I think it was Corey Graves. And of course, Corbin was going to go do, I think it was the hypey dive. But then, Pat did a suplex, which I think Corbin sold it decently. Corbin kicks out. What do you expect to be? A loss with a suplex? Because suplex is not the protected move in WWE. Only if it's connected correctly. Not like a botch like Rich Holland did to Big E. Then Pat whips Corbin onto outside. Then Pat goes for the fly. Does an elbow drop. An elbow dive off to Happy Corbin at ringside. A dive off to Happy Corbin, which that was a little bit not good. And then Pat McAfee tries to go for another dive, I think. Then Corbin flips him, and then Pat tosses Corbin onto I think it was Charlie Robinson's for this match. Then Pat low blows Happy Corbin, and then does his finisher, and boom, that's it. I guess you might have just enjoyed spending time eating cheesecake in Titus Catering, Happy Corbin, which will be starting tonight on SmackDown. Although I think he's possibly going to be on the show tonight, for possibly a next feud going to the UK, which I don't know who he's going to be with. Let's move on here. The next match is going to be the Usos versus Street Profits with Jeff Jarrett as the referee. Oh, and before we get to that, we have to talk about the Drew promo. Of course, Drew McIntyre was at at Nashville, Tennessee tonight. Of course, praising around with the fans, high-fiving the little kids. And I think he was... And he even made a message saying that... He said, "How are you doing? Yes, Broadway Music City, the home of, in fact, of course, this is a highlight. I love this place so much. It's the Drew McIntyre. Of course, it's Drew McIntyre, a guy who's going to beat Roman in UK. My God, we went to Raw for 30 minutes. We beat the hell out of each other. Why? Because I have my Let's Talk about Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. Of course, this is that highlight I got from YouTube. In Nashville, by standing in front of what's your name to a guy. So of course, it's a Drew promo making a message that he will challenge. That he will be watching the last man standing match. That he will face the winner of Reigns versus Lesnar at Clash at the Castles. Which, of course, we have Reigns versus Drew now. Very surprising. And he said at Clash at the Castles, Drew McIntyre will raise his magic wand. But now let me raise my magic wand. And I think he got some more pyro than all the people who is at the SummerSlam pay-per-view tonight. Yeah, and of course we had good old Corey Graves in his Chiva suit. Nice one, Corey Graves. And of course, we got Jeff Jarrett. And of course, we got highlight of the night, which was Money in the Bank from 4 weeks ago. With Usos versus Street Profits, which was a good match. Yeah. And of course, I did not review Money in the Bank because I just had no desire, because the WWE product had Vince McMahon DNA written all over it at that time period. Of course, you had the Tennessee with Street Profits, like cheerleaders dancing to Street Profits. And of course, they do their normal dance. Of course, Angela was wearing the 06 attire, and Montez was wearing the 24 attire, well, blue and white. And of course, they're dancing because Street Profits are pretty cool in WWE. Not so much on the main roster because Paul Heyman redesigned them. Redesigned them instead of just being cringeworthy and doing Saturday Night Live on television. Of course, we got the Usos doing that We Are the One. And it's kind of funny how Drew McIntyre got a lot of pyro compared to people or who got the pyro at SummerSlam. Like he's thinking that Drew could have just got him a pyro. But wasn't bad there. Well, who had the most pyros outside of Drew McIntyre? Well, let's answer those questions in soon. So, cause they do stare down while Jeff Jarrett is sorting out the match, and the camera rolls to the Nashville arena, and cause Street Profits take off their t-shirt. Well, actually, yeah, and we go to Angel in a singlet. And cause we figure who's the first guy starting off, and it's Jimmy and Angelo. And of course, Jimmy tries to go personal because I think he couldn't touch the referee, because if he touched it, he would lose the tag team titles with the referee's decision. And then Jeff Jarrett tries to sort out Angelo and Jimmy. And then Jay makes a tag. Then Jay makes it to the match. He tries to go for the pin. Then Angelo kicks out. And Jimmy goes to work on Angelo. Then Jeff Jarrett was trying to sort out this situation with the Usos and Street Profits, where Jimmy got his knee on Angelo on the apron. Then Jimmy did a headlock on Angelo. And of course the camera, I really don't know how to feel about the camera angle when it was focused on the fans more than the actual wrestling, which is really noticeable on how to get behind it on WWE television. Then of course Jimmy yell, "Oos, oos, shoo!" Oos, 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 oos at Nashville, Tennessee. Or was it, "We are the one," twice. And then does the leg drop from turnbuckle. Then does the "We are the one" pointing finger like Roman Reigns does, like he did for the Day One portrait. Not the one from V Moss, but on DeviantArt, but on WWE.com for the photo shoot of Day One. Then Montez with begging for Angelo to make the tag. Then Angelo got some momentum. Then Angelo picked up the pace, and then Jay and Montez all make the tag, and then Montez did a a frog splash, and then tries to pin Jay. Then Montez tries to get momentum. And then Jay, and then Montez, I think, slapped Jay with a t-shirt, with the red Bloodline t-shirt, which I think was identical to the Day One one. Not like the photo shoot from the pay-per-view. Then Montez tries to go for the pin, and then Jay kicks out. What do you expect from this? Then Jay and Montez tries, and then Jay goes for like that move, but it's like that, like I'm pointing to the screen. I'm not showing you because of copyright. Then Angelo pulls down the singlet. Then Angelo did a suplex on, I think it was Jimmy. Then Jimmy kicked out, and of course Angelo's reaction. I couldn't stop laughing at that reaction. He gave us that Money in the Bank. Then Jimmy tries to go for the kick, and then Montez does the frog splash, the standing frog splash, and then Montez argues with Jeff Jarrett, and then Angelo makes it, and then Angelo gets into the match, and then Jay kicks Montez, and then they did a double super kick on on Angelo, sorry. Then Jimmy did a 5-star, did a typical Uso splash, and they nearly retained their titles until Angelo kicks out. Snap. And then, of course, they tried to go for the double frog splash on Angelo Dawkins, and they did. And then they failed to defeat the Street Profits. One thing I do have to say is, this match took forever. I'm sorry. That wasn't a bad match, don't get me wrong, it wasn't a bad match. But please, just on. Like, and then Jay and Jimmy. And then Jay tries to kick Jeff Jarrett. Then Montez does the 5-star frog splash. Then we nearly thought we had the new tag titles. Failed. Of course, this is the same ones we've been given since 2020. From, like, I think it was Extreme Rules to the final match before the Street Profits got drafted to Monday Night Raw at the WWE draft. We move on. Actually, back to the match. Montez tries to go for the frog splash, which looked awful, I would say. It looked devastating. Right? They kicked Montez and then called out the apron and then tossed him to the barricade. And then Angelo was able to make it back to the ring, and they copied the Dudley Boys' finisher. And they still are your tag team titles. Now, I'm betting man that is this leading to Dudley Boys coming out of retirement to feud with the Usos for the tag title? It would have to be a WrestleMania program for them if I'm a betting man. And of course, that match was not a bad match. Let's move on to the next match. Well, actually, this wasn't a match. This was a pull-apart brawl between Seth Rollins and Riddle. So, of course, you guys don't know that we were going to get Seth Rollins versus Riddle. But due to the injury that I think it was revealed on the WWE bump this week, that Riddle is not going to be fighting Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. So because of that, he was going to get a replacement. Meaning, was it going to be Gargano or anyone on NXT? Then of course Riddle came out of nowhere, then crawled to the ring and then demanded this. He said this. What did he say? He was demanding a call out to Seth Rollins that he does not care about staying home until he gets his hands all on Seth Rollins. And then of course we have the security guys, which I think was, of course Riddle does not want to wait until whenever their match happens, because he was in a tape, like shoulders, like tape thingy. And then Seth comes out and still not in wrestling attire, and of course Seth has Riddle has a serious injury because that's what happened on Raw. Seth and Riddle gets into a pull-apart brawl. And then they kicked each other in the ring when Adam Pearce and all the WWE officials tried to break up this pull-apart brawl, and then Seth stomps Riddle. So if I'm a betting man, we're possibly going to get Riddle versus Seth at Clash of Castles or Extreme Rules. But Seth wants the undisputed title. So if I'm a betting man, I think we're possibly going to get Rollins versus Riddle at Extreme Rules. Because we don't know when is Riddle out for. Because we're still possibly moved to get that match at Clash of Castles. Although I think it's possibly going to be at Extreme Rules. Because I think at Survivor Series he's possibly challenging for the undisputed champion. Otherwise, I would be surprised if, because of course there's Brock Lesnar news, meaning he could be showing up at day 1, which we will talk about that when we hit the main event. Because of course we do have a lot of Brock Lesnar. Well, I'm going to address it on Monday Night in the Raw review on Sunday. Because there was news about Brock Lesnar possibly going to get retiring from WWE based off what happened when SummerSlam went off the air, and the possibility that he might be removed from the day 1 poster, because the advertising poster for the day 1 pay-per-view, that Brock Lesnar could be at day 1. But would that mean a championship program? Because I think he's rumored for Bobby Lashley WrestleMania, which I don't think I'm a fan of because they're both over. So moving on, we have Liv Morgan versus Ronda Rousey, and I swear to God, I was in. If you thought I would watch this match, I was actually looking on my phone, because I was absolutely just fearful about a burial or a Charlotte return to adult another feud, which if you're living on the rock, I call this the killer of the women's evolution. And you want to know why I call this the women's evolution, even though this is not an evolution in 2022. It was an evolution in 2018. But in 2022, well, I'm going to take a look at feuds that is not the women's evolution killer. And we're going to go from 2020 to now. Okay. Sasha versus Bayley. 2020 Hell in Cell. Not a killer to the women's evolution. Sasha versus Bianca at WrestleMania 37. Not a women's evolution killer. Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair. A killer to the women's evolution. And yes, I know I'm getting heat for this, because this feud is the killer to the women's evolution. And of course, like I said, they booked a gauntlet match tonight. This match was so awful. And honestly, Ronda Rousey's WWE return has been an ultimate failure, which is really sad. Now, yes, I may not be a Ronda fan. Well, I mean, I don't hate Ronda Rousey, but at the same time, I'm not the biggest fan of her. But I don't hate her. Like, what's my problem? Yeah, because her first one in WWE was not bad. Like, I mean, she was Raw Women's Champion. Like, she had some decent matches as champion. Like, against Sasha. So, but other than that, her first one was not bad. But with her current one, it's been a failure. Yeah, because of that match at Elimination, because she went with Charlotte Flair. And then to top it all off, the arm thing at Elimination Chamber, where she had to wrestle with an arm tied in her back, which is going to be a point that the Wanderers one has been an absolute failure, which is really sad. How sad is it for the WWE? If you think that people are not going to care about Ronda Rousey, how am I going to care about her? And of course, when Liv did not tap, and of course, Liv Morgan retained her title with a DQ because Ronda went too far. After this, she tried to put the arm, and then I think it ended up in a roll-up where Liv retains the title. Well, I think Liv Morgan should just kiss the title goodbye when Charlotte does return. I think it would be possibly for the Saudi show or day one, which that woman is dropping her title. Which I think that her WrestleMania match is possibly going to be with Lita. Possibly. But how would it work with Lita's... Liv Morgan, one last member of the White Squad that's still in the WWE. Of course, we come out of the replay. Wanda got frustrated, tries to break Liv's arm, which I would have, like, if Liv, and then all of a sudden he touched a referee. She touched the referee, put it in an arm lock, and then you have WWE officials trying to break her up. And then of course, I think it was Monday night before Monday Night Raw. She was suspended immediately, which I think she's suspended with no pay. Or suspended for 60 days. Or whatever. Honestly, this match was a waste of time, and Wanda's return has been an absolute failure. Yeah. And you know what? Now we can turn our attention to the next match. Of course. The main event! Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar. This match was absolutely better than what they did at WrestleMania. And what's even better, you had the great video packages. Like, of course, you have some from WrestleMania 31, Monday Night Raw from 2018, WrestleMania 34, The Greatest Royal Rumble, SummerSlam 2018. Of course, now, we're going to talk about the video package. The video package was absolutely great. Of course, in this video package, according to this video that I have right here, I'm not showing you, I think those are Reigns from SmackDown, the spear from Wrestling. Some clips are from WrestleMania, SmackDown, when the match was set. And then WrestleMania 37, Survivor Series. And then a SmackDown episode when Lesnar returned to set up the match. And of course, F5, WrestleMania 34, SummerSlam 2021. SummerSlam 2020. SummerSlam 2017. WrestleMania 38, Crown Jewel last year, WrestleMania 31, and of course 34 from that disaster of a main event, which was probably 38 was disaster than 34, to be honest with you, because there was CM Punk chants and they were playing with beach balls. Well, I think 34 is worse than 37. No doubt. Of course, you had Royal Rumble and then of course the F5 from WrestleMania 34 and SummerSlam 2017 and somehow I think they edited it out. Because if you guys realize, Samoa Joe and Braun Strowman wasn't in the video clip. Yeah, because they were cut from WWE. And then of course you see the video from MSG, the last match, and then when he taught Lesnar and busted him open, and of course you had Reigns and Lesnar from the recent one SmackDowns just to hype up the feud, and of course you saw SmackDown the night after Crown Jewel when Lesnar went unleashed, and Raw 2018 when Lesnar kicked Roman so hard, then the Greatest Royal Rumble, then we had Theory in the video, and he got Bose in one SmackDown episode when he was toying around with Roman Reigns. Then he was admitting on, and then we had Theory making the message that he's cashing in the video package, which I'm gonna I don't know, SummerSlam 2019, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, and then SummerSlam last year, and the third down in the video package. Now I do have a gripe with this match. They had Roman Reigns come out first, which I'm angry about it, but at the same time I'm really not, because it created a cool moment which we're going to talk about in this match. Of course, everyone did we are the one pointing finger, like usual with Roman Reigns. Whenever this guy comes out, they will do we are the one finger pointing. Whether when Roman merchandise or wants to acknowledge Roman Reigns. And I think there was some bows in Nashville, Tennessee. Now listen, I just do not like the fact they had Roman come out first. And of course, he got pyro, of course. So I think Reigns and McIntyre all got pyros from SummerSlam, which I think Drew had more than Roman, or Reigns might have more than Drew. And of course, Paul Heyman and everyone, Reigns, Lesnar, Reigns, Heyman, and the Usos wearing red necklaces, like always. I think this was the same time from the SmackDown episode when he defended against Riddle. And of course, Heyman's introduction, like always, Reigns' introduction on forcing Nashville, Tennessee to acknowledge him. You had Brock Lesnar come out, and I think he did get pyro as well. And he did get pyro. And I think Lesnar might have gone in more than everyone who was in that arena tonight, rather than Drew McIntyre or Roman did. Then people were wondering, oh god, is Lesnar walking out again? Nope, he blocked the tractor. Yes, because he's a farmer. Actually, I'm going to address this Lesnar news in this video. And of course, Lesnar drove the tractor to the ring, which of course was designed, and which was done not bad. And he also bought a jacket, which is the grey one from, I think it was around SmackDown last year, in his return since coming back from the suspension, or from Raw this year, or maybe even from, well, I think he normally wore the blue one when he walked out and walked back in on SmackDown a week before the pay-per-view. Of course, Brock Lesnar, of course, climb up the tractor, which I would not do that if I was you. If you're not a wrestler, then Lesnar. Then of course you had Mike Romes. I think it was Mike Romes who was the ring announcer. So, and I want to give a thank you all. Thank you whoever produced this match, like Triple H, and I think it was Michael PSA, who produced this match. And I want to thank you all for doing it. Of course, we had Mike Romes introducing Lesnar Reigns, and then Lesnar got the microphone, and I think talked bad about Mike Romes on the microphone. And of course, dropped the microphone, and then I think did a dive off the tractor when when Reigns got both titles, when Mike Rollins was introducing all the competitors, and then Lesnar dives off, and then there's the boxing punches to Reigns, and then clotheslined him out the ring, suplexed him at ringside, then tosses him through a steel steps, which I think that has been done multiple times in the Roman vs Lesnar match. Then a suplex off the steel steps. Onto, then Reigns tried to get recovery. Then Lesnar clotheslined Roman onto the barricade. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong. Then Lesnar put Reigns in the barricade. Then they brawled at the barricade. Of course, you had people. Of course, I think that's been done before. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, if it was done at WrestleMania 34, it would have been probably worth a trial. I'm seeing was if this had characters like Lesnar, the babyface farmer, and Roman Reigns, a heel. Not like maybe like the current Roman, but like the Roman that could have been a heel, that could have been a leader of Authors of Pain, or maybe went to SmackDown Live if he lost and turn heel and start to form a heel bloodline. That would work. And then we end the Roman agenda at that time period. It could have worked. Then Lesnar grabs Roman, then I think tosses him through a steel steps or the barricade. I think one or the other. And then Lesnar got a lot. I think he got a bunch of tables, which was absolutely good. And I thought the fans were gonna chant, "See, this is boring," during this match, just because it was just a rerun of a lot of matches we've seen in the past, but with different touches like the characters and the build through it. But actually, I was wrong, because there was chance during this match, "This is awesome," which I was just furious about how we're getting this match compared to pushing members of the current roster like AJ Styles or a wrestler who deserves a chance. Like, if Brock returned, he could have just maybe might feud with Rollins, but would we be relying on Riddle to be V's punching bag until Randy returns? Possible. Well, probably not. Then Reigns. So back to the match. Reigns puts Lesnar through a table, and then puts him through another table with the slam he's done, like he did to him at MSG. Doing the segment post his match with Feud. Then Reigns settles up for a Superman punch, which he did. And of course, I think it was Corey Graves and Michael Cole who commentated for this match. For those who was wondering, was Pat going to commentate for this match? Nope. And then Reigns hits the spear. We were all wondering, was this going to be over in quick seconds? Nope. Lesnar got back to his feet. Reigns was going for another spear until Lesnar hit him with an F5. But I think he F5'd him out the ring, or maybe AA'd him out the ring, or something. Actually, he tossed him outside in the middle rope. Then I think Brock Lesnar F5'd him. Correct me if I'm wrong. Like, this is highlights from YouTube, and I'm not showing you the clip because I don't want to get a copyright. Then Roman Reigns got back to his feet, tried to get into the ring. Then Lesnar all of a sudden uses a tractor, which I think that was the second time the tractor has been used in this match. And this created possibly the best. Well, actually, he didn't use the tractor. He was just settling it up. He used his steel steps. A part of a broken table on Roman Reigns' back. Then Lesnar was going to hope he was going to win until Reigns was barely moving and tried to get back up. And he did get back up. And Lesnar was frustrated. And then used a tractor to throw Reigns back into the ring as if he was a dead casket open. Like, what the hell is this? A kid show or something? With a villain. And then when a villain grabs a hero, puts it in the tractor and puts it somewhere away from the Hero Squad. Then Lesnar goes for the suplex. So I think he did. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes, he did. He did suplexes. And then Reigns was reckless. Meaning was Reigns gonna win? I mean, Reigns gonna lose. Meaning that we're getting Brock vs McIntyre 2 at UK. Like, I mean, it could have been... Like, you know, I don't know how it would work for people to get behind it. Then Lesnar tries to go for the went for the F5, and he successfully connected the F5. Then Lesnar was laughing, trying to get Roman down. Then Reigns barely moved. Reigns got back up to his feet. Lesnar went for an F5, and Reigns reversed it onto a chokehold. A guillotine lock, the normal one. And then Lesnar reversed it with the same one that I think he used at 2018 SummerSlam, but in a different camera angle. Then Lesnar was frustrated, saying, "Are you kidding me?" Roman is back to his feet, and then Lesnar got out the ring, and then this was one of my favorite spots, without a doubt, in this match. This match would have been terrible if this did not have that spot in the match. You know what I really liked in this match? This is your easy answer. Here's your easy answer on what was my favorite part in this match. It was possibly the best match of the night, along with actually the best match on SummerSlam weekend. Of course, it was. When Lesnar went for the tractor, and then lifts the WWE ring, and I think people were making memes of that when that happened. Where he lifted up a WWE ring, which that was that same ring that Lesnar was after the match, which I will talk about that. Don't you worry. Then Lesnar gets back to the feet because Reigns is blindsided after rolling out the ring. Then Lesnar was ready to put Reigns through an announce table. And then Usos, I think it was Jay and Jimmy, yes, they both came out of nowhere. And then Lesnar tries to pick a fight with them. Like, I think we saw that match when the ref was knocked out. Like, we didn't see it at WrestleMania. And then Lesnar was wanting, Paul was trying to say, do it! Meaning that was Lesnar not going to get... And this was the running out of the week. What's that? In that table. Then the Wayne Spears Lesnar. Just sorting out my thought there. If you wanted to know what was that voice, then they were both knocked out. Then Reigns got back to his feet, and I think when Reigns was just dead like whatever. But then Phoebe comes out. Also, the Phoebe's song hits, and Phoebe comes out with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Of course, no vest. He was just in that same gear from tonight. Of course, we all thought it was going to be the Royal Rumble attire. Or in a attire change like Seth Rollins did in 2018 at Crown Jewel. Then, this was one thing I hated about this match as well. They made, I know people didn't like this, they made Fury look like an idiot. Yeah, by going out there to have F5, and then Usos kicked Lesnar, and then Reigns was going to beat, Lesnar was going to fail to beat Roman. Then Roman spears Lesnar. And then what happens? You know what? He attacked Lesnar with Austin Furious's Money in the Bank briefcase, then tosses his Money in the Bank next to the apron that had a tag carpet from when he lifted that ring on top. Then Reigns presumably grabbed, I think it was the WWE champion, smashes it on top of Brock Lesnar's head like he did to him 2 times. It's with the Universal title. Did it at WrestleMania, did it at Crown Jewel. And I think he used the Universal title to smash Lesnar with it. He smashed Lesnar's head with the Universal title, which I think he's done it with all the saga. And then Reigns and the Usos grabs the announce table thing. He's grabs an announce chair. He steel steps to the point that Lesnar could have been. Then Reigns grabbed on top, and Reigns retains the Universal Championship in what was the best match of that saga, and possibly the best last man standing match ever outside of Becky vs. Ronda. Becky vs. Charlotte from 2018 Evolution. Then the best man, the best SummerSlam main event ever, the best main event of 2020, and the best match in Reigns vs. Lesnar saga. Yeah, that was a fantastic match. I love that match. What the hell? Okay. Whatever that noise is, I'll figure that out. As Reigns retains. As of course, SummerSlam goes off the air and he gets a pyro. So Reigns got 2 pyros tonight. So overall, Reigns had more pyro than everyone else on that show. Now, we have to talk about the topic, about Brock Lesnar. Now, of course, people are asking, is he retiring from WWE? Because when SummerSlam went off the air, and of course, the pyro went off for Roman, Lesnar came back to his feet. Lesnar came back to the feet, and then grabbed the cowboy hat in a broken ring, and Lesnar placed the cowboy hat, and he was inside mode that he couldn't do it. So of course people are asking, is Brock Lesnar leaving the WWE? Because a thing I was thinking about is he's advertised to return for the WWE Day 1 pay-per-view in 2023, which means he would be back in time in December, or after Survivor Series in a few months. So that means that if that's the case, I think Brock Lesnar is possibly going to get removed and replaced by someone like either an Edge or a Seth Rollins. But anyways, I want to thank Brock for what he's done with WWE since 2002. And it's sad I'm saying it, because Lesnar has got me to being a wrestling fan on day 1. But with all the moments he's given us, even his babyface one and his heel work, I know but there was things I liked from the moment. Like, I would praise him on a lot of things. What he did tonight, and his babyface one. Brock Lesnar the Cowboy Lesnar will go down as the best Lesnar ever. Ever. The best Lesnar ever. Like, yeah, like, the heel beast when he went on the part-time, when he worked on the part-time deal. Like, doing his Universal Championship reign in 2017 and 2018. I think before he won the title back at Crown Jewel that year. I wasn't a fan of that because he had 4 opponents. 4 opponents in that ring. Samoa Joe, Kane, Braun Strowman, and Roman Reigns. Those were the 4 opponents he had in his title win. Anyways, Brock Lesnar, you will be thankful for everything you have done for the wrestling business. And you got me as a wrestling fan. And now you will forever be loved by me. Brock is my favorite and will be going down as a future, outside of John Cena and Randy Orton, a future WWE Hall of Famer. Thank you, Brock. We will miss you forever. I think I'm done here. I'm gonna go. I'm leaving. I'll see you all on Sunday for the Monday Night Raw review, where I'm gonna cry because Brock Lesnar's gone it's not within WWE anymore. Brock, we will forever thank you on the moments you've given us since 2000, since you debuted, and your return in 2000, your debut in 2002, and your return to WWE in 2012. We will forever love you, Lesnar. That's your review. I'll see you all on Sunday for Monday Night Raw review, and then Monday for SmackDown. I'm gonna go cry. I miss you, Brock Lesnar. You will forever go down as a future Hall of Famer, along with Cena and Orton. I will miss you, Lesnar. You are the greatest of all time.